It's beer o'clock on Real Ale Craft Beer. I've been to Sainsbury's, I've picked up some beers, some 4 for 3 beers. So you're buying 3, you're getting your 4th free. All about £3 a can this time, and that's late October 2025. In case you're watching this years in the future and you're thinking, it's £6 now for a can of beer. Yeah, 2025, October, £3 a can. This is the Swiss Roll Stout by Jiddler's Tipple. It's 5.1% ABV in a 440 milliliter can. Jiddler's Tipple, I think they're a contract sort of. They sort of gypsy brew in different breweries. You see their beers popping around, certainly in Sainsbury's, from time to time. And well, what they do, they sort of discontinue the previous beers. You don't see that anymore, and then they bring something new in. So for October, going into the winter months, they've decided to go with a stout. A Swiss roll stout. So I'm thinking to myself, Swiss roll, that's like jam, cream, rolled up. Yeah. In some sort of sponge cake. So this could very well be one of those sweet pastry stouts, which are very sweet. So I, don't want to waste your time. I may not like this. I may just go with this. So I'm not generally a sweet stout type of person. So let's get this out anyway. Into a glass and see what we get. It's pouring quite thin. Yeah, it's pouring, I reckon that's pouring for me more like a brown ale. Much more like a brown ale than a stout straight away. So already my haunches are going up a little bit already. I'm starting to think, nah. And this is the thing with contract brewing. I used to work for a brewery in Caerphilly years and years ago. And let's talk about this for a moment. We got a 1 finger light tan coloured head. For me, it's bordering stout just about. But the way that beer poured, it was pouring like a very dark brown ale. Probably like what Newcastle brown ale used to look like when it was first brewed, to be honest with you. Not the pale, insignificant beer that we have today from Newcastle brown ale. Small amount of carbonation. It's not quite jet black. It might be looking jet black to you in the camera, but for me, it's very, very dark brown. Let's get the aroma on the beer then. Fair play to this. Yes, there's that sort of sweet, sticky sort of jam sweetness to it. Jam, fruit sweetness to it. You get with a lot of these sort of pastry stouts, but there does seem to be some bitterness here. There does seem to be a little bit of roasted malt coming through. So just quickly, the problem with gypsy brewing, contract brewing your beer out to somebody else to brew, is that they're always going to prioritise their beers over yours. They might tell you that they will prioritise you and they will make your beer fantastic. But I've worked for a brewery that it was a case of they were making sure their beers were perfect. Their beers were perfectly brewed beers. And when it comes to the contract brewers, everybody suddenly became half-hearted. Everybody suddenly went, we got to brew this beer today. I can't remember the name of the brewery now. They folded a long time ago. something like Warwickshire or something, Warwickshire Beer Company or something, brewed in Caerphilly. And the beers were always so timid and always so kind of half-hearted and you kind of get a sense that that's what's happening here. For all the promises that a brewery will promise you, and you know, we will treat your beers with respect if you choose to brew your beers with us, you get a sense of like, they're not quite as good as the breweries are. Am I making sense here? Let's dive in. Cheers, everybody. There's a little bit of roasted malt in there. There is a little bit of roasted malt in there, but I can't help but feel like it tastes like another one of those, I call them cherry cola beers. There's so many beers out there these days, these sort of pastry stouts, that they for me, they taste like cherry Coke. Just sweet cherry Coke. But to be fair to this, there is a rolling bitterness. There is a bitterness on the back of the palate here. So let's concentrate on the good. There is roasted malt flavour on the back. It is quite chocolatey and rich and a little bit nutty, a little bit biscuity. There is some bitterness on the back end. It's balancing out all of that sweetness. It's just, for me, well, I don't know, kind of undecided here. It started off quite thin, but then as I'm getting down the glass, I'm realising it does have some mouthfeel, and it is quite refreshing at the same time. It's one of those sort of slightly refreshing, slightly rounded stouts that seem to hit the sweet spot. I'm liking this beer more than I thought I would. It's a beer that's holding on to its fundamental values of being stout first, Swiss roll stout second, or whatever the theme is at the time. Celebration. I won't mention celebration beers anymore because people kind of, I read the comments and they're like, oh, you talking about those celebration beers again? I think this beer is worth a chance. I think it's interesting enough that you should try it. It will never be the best stout in the world. It will never be the best ever sort of pastry stout in the world, because it's sitting in between the two. It's sitting in between pastry stout, which is sweet and sickly, and traditional bitter stout over here, which actually, if you think about it, it's a beer with balance. Sweet pastry stout over here, traditional bitter stout over here. A good balance going on. I'm gonna say I like it. I'm gonna say I like it. I'm gonna say I'm gonna drink it. I'm gonna finish it. I'm not gonna pour it down the sink. I'm gonna finish this beer. It's quite good. It's quite good, and fair play to Jiddler's Tipple here. Perhaps my experiences with contract brewed beer with one brewery, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the brewery who's brewing these beers for Jiddler's Tipple do care. Maybe they do care. I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. 7 out of 10 from Real Ale Craft Beer. Please put your comments in the comments box. Subscribe to our daily beer and food reviews. Give us a big fat thumbs up. Boom. Cheers.